The world moves fast. Notifications, updates, deadlines, all blending into a blur of noise. Every day feels like a race you never signed up for. But what if staying grounded wasn't about slowing down, but about finding rhythm in the rush? Picture yourself standing still as the world spins around you, calm, clear, focused. That's where real strength begins. Because in the chaos of constant change, the ones who thrive aren't those who run faster. They're the ones who learn how to stand firm. The world moves fast. Every second feels like it's slipping through your fingers, replaced by another notification, another update, another demand for your attention. You wake up, check your phone, and before your feet even touch the floor, your mind is already running. It's easy to feel like you're caught in a current that never stops moving, a current that decides your pace, your priorities, even your peace. But what if you could step out of that current? Not to escape the world, but to understand it better, to move with purpose instead of pressure. This is what thriving in change is really about. It's not just keeping up. It's learning how to stay grounded in the middle of motion. Because the faster the world spins, the more balance matters. Imagine standing at a crosswalk in a busy city. The lights flash, engines hum, people rush past you with coffee cups and deadlines. The noise is constant, but within it you can choose where to place your focus. A breath, the sound of your own heartbeat, the feeling of your feet on the ground. In that single moment you take back control. That's where real adaptability begins, not in speed but in awareness. Throughout history, humans have faced change that felt impossible. The industrial age, the rise of electricity, the birth of the internet, each era introduced a storm of uncertainty. Yet somehow we adapted. We learned new tools, new rhythms, new ways of living. The difference between those who thrived and those who fell behind wasn't intelligence or luck. It was balance. The ability to stay calm while everything shifted around them. Think of the ancient navigators who crossed open oceans with nothing but stars and instinct. They didn't control the wind or the waves, but they knew how to move with them. They understood that power wasn't found in resisting change, but in aligning with it. Every decision was guided by awareness, every pause intentional. They didn't rush. They adapted moment by moment. Today we face a different kind of sea. Digital tides. Constant notifications. The invisible pull of algorithms deciding what we see, think, and sometimes even feel. But the principle remains the same. To thrive in modern change, you must find your own stillness, your inner compass. It's not about disconnecting from the world. It's about reconnecting with yourself within it. Imagine logging off for just 1 hour. No noise, no screens, just you in silence. At first, it feels uncomfortable, even empty. But slowly, clarity begins to surface. You start to notice things that had been lost in the noise. Your thoughts, your goals, your energy. That clarity is the foundation of adaptability. Because when you know where you stand, the world can shift around you, and you still won't lose your balance. Change will always come. Technology will evolve. Jobs will transform. The pace will never slow down. But thriving doesn't mean outpacing the change. It means adapting with awareness, like a dancer moving in rhythm with the music. The dance changes, but the dancer remains steady. At Niche Undertheme, that's what we explore. How to live in a fast world without losing your center. How to use the tools of the future while keeping the wisdom of the past. How to move forward with hope, not fear. Because the truth is, being grounded doesn't make you slow. It makes you powerful. It gives you clarity when others panic. It lets you make decisions not out of urgency, but from purpose. In a world driven by speed, calm is your advantage. So as the world races forward, remember this. Adaptability starts with stillness. The next time you feel overwhelmed by change, pause for a moment. Breathe. Listen. Let the noise pass. Then take one step forward, not to keep up, but to move with intention. That's how you stay grounded in motion. That's how you thrive in change. The city never really sleeps anymore. Its lights flicker like a pulse, constant, relentless, alive. Somewhere inside that rhythm, you move through your day. The train hums beneath your feet, screens glow around you, voices rise and fade like static. Everyone seems to be chasing something: growth, relevance, validation. And yet no one seems still enough to realize what they've lost along the way. Modern life rewards speed but punishes pause. We scroll faster, reply quicker, multitask until the line between progress and exhaustion disappears. And when the noise gets too loud, we call it normal. But deep down you feel it, that quiet urge for something steadier, something real. The truth is, thriving in a fast world isn't about doing more. It's about learning how to breathe between the chaos. Now imagine standing in the middle of a crowded street. Cars honking, phones buzzing, people rushing past. Then, for no reason at all, you stop. You lift your head, take a breath, and for a second, everything slows. You start hearing the layers, footsteps, wind, the faint sound of music from a nearby cafe. You feel the ground under your feet. That small moment of awareness doesn't stop the world, but it changes your relationship with it. You've found rhythm inside the rush. Ancient wisdom understood this balance long before we gave it a name. In temples carved from stone, monks practiced silence not to escape life, but to master it. In vast deserts and open plains, travelers learned that movement without mindfulness leads to getting lost. They adapted to change by observing it, by letting stillness guide their motion. They didn't call it grounding or wellness. They called it survival. Today, that same principle holds true, even if our deserts are made of data and our storms are digital. The modern human is surrounded by stimuli, constant pings, flashing icons, endless content. But technology isn't the enemy. Disconnection is. When you let the world move without choosing how you move within it, that's when you lose yourself. Adaptation begins when you take back that choice. Let's take a designer, for example. She spends her days surrounded by pixels, deadlines, and client feedback loops. The pace is intoxicating, until it isn't. She starts losing sleep, her creativity fades, and she feels detached from the very passion that once fueled her. Then one day, while walking home, she pauses at a park bench. She watches the leaves move with the wind, slow, effortless, in sync with something bigger. That small moment shifts something inside her. The next morning, she doesn't rush. She designs with intention. The speed is still there, but now it has direction. That's what staying grounded means. It's not about isolation or running away from the modern world. It's about remembering that innovation and peace can coexist. Stillness and progress can walk side by side. You don't have to reject change to master it, you just have to meet it with awareness. Every great innovator in history knew this balance. The ones who changed the world didn't let the pace of the world dictate their purpose. They slowed down to see patterns others missed. They trusted intuition as much as logic. They took time to breathe before they built. Because clarity is born from stillness, not from constant motion. The irony of the modern age is that in our effort to connect with everything, we've disconnected from ourselves. But the solution isn't to abandon technology, it's to use it consciously. Let your tools serve your values, not the other way around. That's what makes progress sustainable. In a world obsessed with acceleration, stillness becomes rebellion. And that rebellion doesn't have to be loud. It can be as simple as turning off your phone for 10 minutes, drinking your coffee without multitasking, listening to a friend without checking the time. Those moments don't slow your growth, they protect it. At Niche Undersurname, we believe thriving in change means learning this modern art of balance. Because the pace of the world won't slow down. The technology will keep evolving. But the ability to pause, to breathe, to stay grounded, that's timeless. That's power. So the next time you feel swept up in the motion of everything, remember, the world moves fast, but you don't have to lose yourself in the spin. Step back. Breathe. Let awareness lead your actions. Because when you find calm in the chaos, you stop reacting and start creating. That's how you move with the world instead of being moved by it. Change is a constant companion. From the rise of cities to the hum of the internet, every generation has felt the pressure of transformation. Yet somehow humanity endures. We adapt. We survive. And sometimes we thrive. But thriving is rarely about speed. It's about understanding the currents beneath the surface, the invisible patterns that guide progress, and learning how to navigate them without losing yourself. Picture a modern office. Computers hum, phones ring, emails arrive without pause. Workers move quickly, juggling tasks, deadlines, and expectations. It feels urgent, necessary, and exhausting. In that environment, mistakes multiply, creativity fades, and the mind becomes cluttered. You wonder if anyone remembers how to simply think, reflect, or breathe. That chaos mirrors the wider world. Rapid technological change, shifting economies, constant information. The pressure is relentless. Now imagine an ancient craftsperson, centuries ago, shaping tools from wood and stone. Life was slower on the surface, but their challenges were no less complex. They had to observe, experiment, and adapt to survive. Each decision mattered. Each movement had purpose. They could not rush the process. They understood that mastery required patience and awareness. Their pace was measured, intentional, and guided by knowledge, not urgency. The lesson is clear. Thriving is not a matter of running faster than everyone else. It is a matter of moving deliberately with clarity and presence. The modern world may demand speed, but it cannot replace the power of mindful action. When you pause to understand the forces shaping your life, You gain insight that others miss. You become a navigator rather than a passenger. Consider the innovator facing a sudden industry shift. At first, panic sets in. The new technology seems overwhelming. Everyone else is reacting frantically. But by stepping back, observing and reflecting, solutions begin to appear. Small actions taken with clarity have a far greater impact than frantic effort. By grounding themselves, the innovator finds not only stability but a path forward. They adapt, they pivot, they thrive. Throughout history, the principle remains the same. Whether crossing oceans, inventing machines, or navigating a digital world, success favors those who balance movement with mindfulness. Awareness amplifies action. Stillness empowers progress. The ability to stay centered while everything changes is the skill that separates those who merely survive from those who flourish. In our daily lives, the practice of grounding may be subtle but transformative. Breathing exercises, intentional pauses, mindful observation. These are not luxuries. They are tools for thriving in a fast world. They help us prioritize, innovate, and respond with wisdom rather than stress. They allow creativity to flourish, relationships to deepen, and decisions to gain clarity. The pace of life will never slow. Change will continue to arrive in waves. But the principle of adaptability remains eternal. The fastest thinker is not the one who reacts first. The strongest innovator is not the one who moves fastest. It is the one who sees clearly, chooses intentionally, and acts from a place of centered awareness. At Mindfulness, we explore these timeless lessons. We examine how to navigate the chaos without losing your core. How to use modern tools while respecting ancient wisdom. How to find calm in motion and clarity in the midst of noise. This is the path to thriving in change, not by outrunning it but by moving with it, guided by awareness. So as the world spins faster than ever before, remember this. The currents of change can be overwhelming, but they are not unstoppable. Step back. Observe. Find your rhythm. Let patience guide your actions and clarity guide your choices. In doing so, you will not only survive the pace of modern life, you will thrive within it. Every day we face the pressure of constant transformation. Jobs evolve, technologies advance, social norms shift. It can feel like the ground beneath your feet is always moving, and the instinct is to clutch whatever seems stable. But thriving in change is not about holding on tighter. It's about learning to let go with awareness, to move with intention rather than resistance. Consider the designer at the edge of burnout. Surrounded by screens and deadlines, she works tirelessly, pushing creativity through exhaustion. Each task blends into the next, and soon she forgets why she started. One afternoon, while walking through a quiet park, she pauses. The wind stirs the leaves above, the sun breaks through the clouds, and she feels something shift inside. For the first time in months, she notices the world without rushing. That moment of pause becomes the catalyst for clarity. She begins to apply this practice in her daily life. Before starting a project, she takes a breath. Before replying to an urgent email, she observes her thoughts. Small adjustments create space for reflection, allowing her to innovate instead of react. She realizes that adaptability is not about speed. It is about presence, intention, and mindful action. History provides countless examples. Ancient builders faced shifting materials, changing weather, and evolving techniques. Their success depended not on rushing but on observing, adjusting, and mastering each step. The lesson echoes through time. Progress requires stillness at the right moments, insight before action, and courage to move deliberately within uncertainty. In modern life, the principles are the same. Even as the pace accelerates, those who thrive are not the ones who do everything fastest. They are the ones who balance movement with reflection, who find stability amidst chaos, who approach each change with purpose. Stillness becomes their tool for strength, not weakness. At Mindfulness, we emphasize this approach, embracing change without losing your center. Learning to adapt does not require abandoning responsibility or ambition. It requires understanding your rhythm, noticing your surroundings, and acting with clarity. By cultivating moments of grounding, you build resilience that allows you to thrive regardless of external pressures. As you navigate your own life, consider where you might pause, reflect, and observe before moving forward. The world will continue to demand speed, but clarity, balance, and intention will always provide the edge. Thriving is not about outpacing change. It is about moving with it, anchored in self-awareness and guided by purpose. This is the path to lasting success, innovation, and fulfillment. Speed defines success in the modern age. Every notification, update, and trending topic feels urgent. The pressure to keep up is relentless. We measure progress by output, by speed, by how fast we can adapt. And yet, amidst the rush, clarity is rare. The most profound insights do not come from reacting instantly, but from pausing, observing, and moving with intention. Imagine a busy office. Colleagues rush between meetings, phones vibrate constantly, screens glow with messages and alerts. At first glance it seems like chaos. But within that chaos lies opportunity. The person who takes a moment to notice patterns, to understand context, gains an advantage. They see connections that others miss. They respond with strategy, not panic. That pause becomes power. History reminds us that lasting innovation has always required balance. Inventors, explorers, and thinkers from every era faced pressure and uncertainty. They adapted not by racing blindly, but by observing, planning, and acting with awareness. The industrial pioneers did not merely build faster, they built smarter. Navigators did not fight the wind, they learned to sail with it. Their secret was not speed alone, but grounded, intentional action. Today we can apply the same principle. Even in a world dominated by technology, speed is not the ultimate measure of success. Clarity, focus, and presence allow us to respond effectively to change. By cultivating these qualities, we move beyond mere reaction. We thrive in a fast-moving environment, turning potential overwhelm into opportunity. At Niche_name, thriving in change is about combining modern tools with timeless strategies. It is about finding rhythm in motion and calm amidst urgency. The future will continue to accelerate, but grounded individuals can shape it rather than be shaped by it. By choosing awareness over haste, we discover that the ability to pause is not weakness. It is the foundation for strength, innovation, and lasting success.